Good evening. Welcome to the September 9th, 2021 City of Roseville Planning Commission meeting. Pursuant to paragraph 42 of Executive Order N-08-21, executed by the Governor of California on June 11th, 2021, and as a response to mitigating the spread of coronavirus known as COVID-19, the Planning Commission meeting will allow members of the public to participate and address the Planning Commission during the open session of the meeting. Public comment may be submitted by telephone during the meeting and prior to the close of public comment on an agenda item by calling 916-774-5353. If you call, you may be placed on hold until the attendant can answer. The broadcast is delayed by up to 30 seconds when watching at home. When your call is transferred, you will have 3 minutes for public comments on items not on the agenda and 5 minutes in which to speak to a regular agenda item. Your time will be monitored and you will be informed when you have 1 minute left to conclude your comments. If you're listening to the meeting while calling in, please turn down the volume on the meeting in order to avoid interference. When calling, please do not use the speakerphone option as it may create difficulty for the Planning Commission to hear your comments. And with that, I'll now call the meeting to order. Mackenzie, may I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner Brishers.
Here.
Commissioner Caparoso.
Here.
Commissioner Covington.
Here.
Commissioner Hagen-Jose.
Here.
Commissioner Pryor.
Here.
And Vice Chair Martin.
Here.
And then Chair Jensen is absent excused tonight.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Now, if you could all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Mackenzie, can we please begin staff introductions?
Yes. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Mackenzie Harrison. I'm the recording secretary for tonight.
Good evening, Commissioners. Joe Speaker, Assistant City Attorney.
Good evening, Chair Martin and Commissioners. Greg Bitter, Planning Manager.
Good evening, Chair Martin and Commissioners. Derek Ogden, Senior Planner.
Good evening, Commissioners. Sean Morales, Assistant Planner.
And good evening, Matt Todd, Principal Engineer.
Thank you. Next up on the agenda is the public comment. Public comment is the public comment period is a time for anyone who would like to address the Commission on an item that's not on tonight's agenda. Public comment may be given by calling 916-774-5353. When addressing the Commission, please state your name for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes. We'll ask if anybody in the audience has any comments. It looks like there's none, so we'll give about a minute break and see if anybody's going to call in.
Chair Martin, that's been about 30 seconds, which is the delay for the streaming video. So I don't believe we have any phone public comment tonight.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hearing none, I'll close the public comment period. Next up on the agenda is the consent calendar. The consent calendar consists of routine items that may be approved under one motion and recommended in the staff reports. However, each item may be considered separately upon a request by the audience, Planning Commission, or staff. To request that a consent item be considered separately, the public may call in at 916-774-5353. Tonight's consent calendar consists of 2 items. Item 5.1, which are the minutes of the August 26th, 2021 Planning Commission meeting, and item 5.2, infill parcel number 10, dire variance located at 328 Roseville Street. For the record, number PL21-0249. We ask if there's anybody who has if anybody from the public would like to speak on the consent calendar items. And then we'll also take a pause of about a minute for phone-ins as well.
Chair Martin, there's nobody on the phone asking to pull an item from the consent calendar tonight.
Commissioners, would anybody like to pull an item from the consent calendar for discussion? Okay. Seeing and hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as listed?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar as listed.
Second.
Okay, the motion was, Commissioner Covington has made the motion and Commissioner Caparuso has seconded the motion. Mackenzie, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner Brashears,
Yes.
Commissioner Pryor,
Yes.
Commissioner Covington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hagen-Jost,
Yes.
Commissioner Caparuso,
Yes.
and Vice Chair Martin.
Yes, the motion is approved. There's a 10-day appeal period for item 5.2. All right, next up on the agenda is requests presentations. Before we begin, I want to review the meeting procedures. Initially, we'll hear the staff presentation, then we'll take questions from the commissioners, then we'll open the public hearing, and in the public hearing, the applicant will make a presentation, then I'll open the public comment, and the public will have an opportunity to speak on the issue. Then I'll close public comment. Then the applicant will be given an opportunity to provide a rebuttal to any public comments. And then we'll close the public hearing. And then after that, we'll have the commission can ask any questions of staff. And then finally, the commission will consider this item and make a decision based on information provided in the report from staff and the testimony presented during tonight's hearing. As a reminder, public comment may be given by calling 916-774-5353. If you call, you may be placed on hold until staff can answer. When addressing the commission, please state your name for the record and limit your comments to 5 minutes. First up is item 6.1. It is a request to approve a major project permit stage 1 and a tentative parcel map for 290 Conference Center Drive. For the record, it's file number PL21-0153. Sean, can we have your presentation, please?
Yes, you may. Good evening again, Commissioners. My name is Sean Morales. I'm an assistant planner, and I'm here tonight to present to you the Roseville Junction project. The project site is located at 290 Conference Center Drive on parcel 40 within the North Central Roseville Specific Plan. The 11-acre site has a zoning designation of community commercial with a special area overlay for the North Central Specific Plan, and a land use designation of business, professional / community commercial. The site is bordered by Highway 65 to the north, an open space parcel with the Westfield Galleria beyond to the east, 2 vacant parcels to the south, and the Villa Sport to the west. This slide provides some site history. From 2005 to 2006, a specific plan amendment and major project permit were approved for a 10-story hotel and conference center facility. However, the project was halted due to financial issues and the entitlements eventually expired. And in 2011, the city acquired the site, and a subsequent similar, though slightly different site plan, major project permit for a 10-story hotel and conference center were again approved, and the Roseville Hotel and Conference Center Project EIR were adopted at that time. However, in December 2020, the site was determined to be surplus, and now the city has entered into a purchase and sale agreement with the applicant who proposes the Roseville Junction development with 2 hotels and multiple restaurant uses as anticipated in the specific plan. The project includes an MPP Stage 1 to approve the site plan, landscaping, and design guidelines, and a tentative parcel map to divide the site into 6 parcels. Each of the parcels contains a separate use, including hotels 1 and 2 in the southern portion of the site, which are 5 stories each, restaurant 1 and 2, which are 6,000 square foot pad buildings in the eastern portion of the site, restaurant 3, which is an 8,000 square foot pad building with 8 associated pickleball courts in the northern area, and parcel 6, which will be an outdoor entertainment use with modular restaurants as well, and that's in a layout that is to be determined. Each use must come in later for MPP Stage 2 entitlements for review of the building elevations and site details, which will require a subsequent Planning Commission approval. The design guidelines and landscape plan included with the Stage 1 will ensure the overall project will maintain a consistent design theme. A notable site feature is the continuation of the pedestrian and bike trail on the northern portion of the site. A potential bridge crossing for the trail to the neighboring Westfield Galleria is also included for reference, so it's not part of this project. The applicant submitted a set of design guidelines with the project. The guidelines provide a narrative and images that will help guide the architecture of the future building elevations. The overall design theme is modern industrial. That theme is expressed in the architectural elements and material palette, including painted metal and reclaimed wood accents, in addition to stucco walls and precast block. It's also continued with the fixtures and furnishings, including concrete and steel planters and fountains, as well as building-mounted lighting, accent walls, and benches with metal accents. Staff will use the design guidelines when evaluating future MPP Stage 2 submittals to ensure design consistency across the entire development. So in conclusion, the project is consistent with the general plan, specific plan, zoning ordinance, community design guidelines, and subdivision ordinance, and the required findings can be made for the major project permit Stage 1, as well as the tentative parcel map. An addendum was also prepared to the Roseville Hotel Conference Center project EIR, and no new significant impacts were found. Therefore, staff recommends that the Commission consider the addendum to the EIR and then adopt the required findings of fact and approve the major project permit Stage 1 and tentative parcel map subject to the recommended conditions of approval. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Sean. Commissioners, are there any questions for Sean? Nope. Okay. Seeing no questions from the commissioners, I'll now open the public hearing. I would like to invite the representative for this item to address the commission, please.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, Greg Bardini with Morton Batallo, representing the property owners this evening, one of which is Ranch Hod, which is with me as well. We're happy to answer any questions, appreciate your consideration, excited to bring this forward. It's got a lot of uses that we haven't seen in Roseville, so we think it's a great project, and we're in agreement with the conditions. Thank Derek, Sean for their help, and we're happy to be here.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions from the commissioners for the applicant?
I had a question. I'm not sure if it should be you or staff. So on the parking on the, I think it's the south end, where there's a vacant parcel next to it, there's no access from whatever will go on that site to then this side over here. And I just wondered if on the, I think it's the west side where it connects to Villa Sport, there is a way to get from this parking area through to the Villa Sport parking. So just in thinking about future development of that area and cars going in and out, if there's no access from that parking to the next one, I mean, is that something worth considering or thinking about?
It's a different use, land use there. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, but it's office professional. It may have some other components. So what we're talking about is cross-access. Mm-hmm. We do have it with Villa Sport, which facilitates the access. 2 points of access is required by the city. Mm-hmm. They have a larger parcel to the south of it. It's owned by the Pappas company. And I think, I haven't seen their development plans, but I think they have points of access to Conference Center Drive.
Okay.
Also, I would add, Commissioner Covington, that there is quite a bit of significant grade differences between the two parcels, and so they have a wall, a retaining wall to hold the grade for this project. So that kind of also creates a little difficulty going back and forth between the parcels, or creating a drive aisle that would allow you to do that.
Okay.
Now,
Thank you.
I might as well chime in too. Is that when the city when the previous entitlements have been adopted, there was not access between these parcels. It was always intended that Conference Center Drive would be the main access point for each parcel. And again, Mr. Bardini pointed out that the fact that this parcel has access with the Villa Sport parking lot is to have that 2 points of connection. Okay. So Villa Sport, when Villa Sport was planned, it was always assumed that they would connect with this parcel so that they would have two driveways connections onto the circle.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
One other question. I'm hoping you could maybe expand a little bit on the modular container buildings. I had an opportunity to go from Salt Lake to Moab a few months ago, and we stopped in, I can't remember the name of the town, and there was a small kind of complex, and they had these modular stacked buildings. It wasn't open yet, but the intent was restaurant, access. Is that kind of the concept there?
Yeah, correct. So it's kind of a, event center. We call it event center, but really an outdoor activity area. So we're proposing, patio areas for joint seating and eating, and then, perhaps outdoor activities, be it cornhole or whatever is appropriate, seeing the uses around us. But they're individual modular containers, and it's the plan there is to lease them out to individual vendors, local restaurants, food
So they'll be
trucks.
ground level.
Yeah, ground
out across.
level.
Okay. This was stacked, and I was wondering if that was.
We're not planning on stacking them, no. But we tried to give some examples in the design guidelines. You
Saw
can
a
see the
little bit of that,
containers in there, and that's really what our vision is.
Okay. Thank you.
So we've been working on that leasing program right now with local restaurants to really create the synergy for that site.
All right, thanks.
It's not really a question, it's more of an observation. Why pickleball?
Opposed to
As opposed
I
to
mean, I think-
tennis or something else? Or is it just because it's something new and something we don't have in
Cricket?
the area? Or
Yeah, it's something that hasn't been done in the region. And when we say pickleball, really outdoor activity. It's probably going to have more activities, and you'll see it on the stage too when we bring it forward. But pickleball, cornhole, and that's why when I said we want activities that complement one another and not compete with one another. So if they're going to do one thing, we'll do another. But the whole idea is to have an activity area where, really it's a sports bar where you can go hang out, listen to music, and have some other activities.
You might even draw some of us who are a little older towards pickleball as opposed to tennis.
right, thank you.
Any other questions? I actually had a question in regard. I know we're not at stage 2, but the pickleball area is intriguing because I am getting up there in age. Is it going to be like a fenced area with access, meaning it's a paid venue? Obviously, you're going to have tournaments here with that many courts. And I know they do a lot of tournaments down south, so this will bring people up here with the hotels. It's a great idea. But is it going to be open to people to come in, or is it going to be controlled?
It's going to be, and again, that's a little specific, and I have to get with the specific tenant that we have planned for there. But based on the illustratives and the other projects that we've seen that they've done, it's a, controlled yard. ABC has certain requirements for controlled, fencing and alcohol on premises.
Right.
But really, it's trying to equate it, no different than maybe trying to think of something local here, where you can come and go freely.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, there may be times, and that's more operational. But it's really a restaurant with an outdoor activity area.
Sure. Okay. All right. Okay. We'll see no other questions. Thank you, Greg, or Mr. Bardini. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I'll open up public comments. So public comments may be given by calling 916-774-5353. As a reminder, you have 5 minutes to address the commission on this item. Is there anybody in the here that has any open comments? If not, we'll give it about a minute pause for any phone calls that might come in as well.
Chair Martin, we've accommodated the delay in the streaming video, so there are no phone calls tonight for this item.
Great, thank you. And then seeing no individuals here, we'll now close public comment. And then since there were no comments, we have no reason to have the applicant come back up for any question responses. So now we'll close the, well, before I close the public hearing, do the commissioners have any additional comments at all for this? You have one? Go ahead.
Just one, because I just want to clarify it. In looking at the recommendations It says, consider the addendum to the Sierra Vista specific plan. I think that should say the North Central specific plan. I just want to clarify that when we
I believe you're correct.
make the motion. Yeah.
That must have been a typo if that's what it says. It should be the North Central, or it should be the Roseville Hotel Conference Center project, EIR.
Where's that?
It's on page 7 of 22.
Yeah.
And while we're doing that, Commissioner Covington, I noticed too there, and I don't know if this is on the printed materials, but in our digital packet on page, it doesn't list a page 3, under site design, there's an error in a link.
Here. Two things. Can you repeat that, Commissioner Kepers? I'm sorry.
No problem. On page 3 of the digital staff report, under site design, it reads the proposed site plan, comma, included as error, reference source not found.
Boy, yeah.
Where is that? What page?
3, under site design.
Oh, link or an exhibit that I guess is.
Oh, it should have been figure 2 and exhibit A. So figure 2, which is just below that paragraph.
Yeah, that appears correct in my version, but it must have been a link that didn't transfer to name that figure 2. Yeah.
Referencing figure 2.
Okay. So some grammatical errors, maybe if we can get that in the motion possibly. So with that, if we have no other comments from the commissioners, I'll now close the public hearing. And then, would anyone like to make a motion?
I'm excited to see some movement on this site and really excited about the concept itself. So I'll make a motion to adopt the 2 findings of fact and approve the MPP Stage 1 subject to 82 conditions of approval, adopt the 3 findings of fact and approve the tentative subdivision map subject to 66 conditions approval, noting the 2 grammatical edits that need to be made.
And then also, we would need to consider the addendum.
That's right.
As Commissioner Hagenjos mentioned. So we would consider the addendum to the Roseville Hotel and Conference Center Project Environmental Impact Report. So it's the first addendum.
Okay.
What Derek said.
I'll second that.
Great. Commissioner Caparuso has made a motion. Commissioner Brashears has seconded it. Mackenzie, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner Caparuso?
Yes.
Commissioner Brashears?
Yes.
Commissioner Pryor?
Yes.
Commissioner Covington?
Yes.
Commissioner Hagenjos?
Yes.
And Vice Chair Martin?
Yes. Motion is approved. There's a 10-day appeal period for this item. All right, next up is the Commissioner Staff Report. So are there any reports from staff at this time?
Yes, Chair Martin. I just want to let you know that the item that you heard last week or 2 weeks ago, the Bonnie Knoll design review permit modification, the applicant did appeal your decision on that to the City Council. So we'll be taking that to City Council, I believe, at the second meeting in October on appeal. And then, again, I think I sent you an email last week. We will not be having a meeting on September 23rd. We had a couple last-minute issues with the 2 items that were scheduled for that evening, so they'll be coming in a future date. But we do have items tentatively scheduled for October 14th and October 28th, and we have received enough responses to our inquiry about November 11th, or November 18th, excuse me. So if we do have items coming up in November, we do plan on having a special meeting.
Okay.
So we'll probably know that by the end of this month. And as soon as we know that we have an item tentatively scheduled, we'll get the word out to you all.
Okay.
And that's all I have tonight.
All right, thanks. Commissioners, are there any questions for staff? Okay, with that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, so I got a motion from Commissioner Brashears, and then Commissioner Pryor has seconded it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.